Are you alright?
No, I need attention. Oh.
There once was a lady in waiting. Let's call her Jane. That girl wasn't ordinary.
No way for me, a lady stuck in waiting. I'd rather battle fire-breathing dragons. I knew I could prove that it could be a night, that my friends all laughed at me. But I wouldn't be discouraged and trained in secret. Then a dragon picked a royal prince and everyone was freaking. So I went along to Dragon's Hall to slay the dragon. Hey now, now, Jane and the dragon are best friends now. Dragon sweet, he let me see the young prince and the king. Maybe his knight apprentice. Hey now, now. Dragons help on me and make someday.
Alright, Jane and the Dragon, Jane and the Dragon. I was a Qubo kid. I watched Jane and the Dragon reruns a lot. And I really enjoyed them. It was one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show to watch on there. Why did I rewatch all of them? Because I was reminded of them. So I rewatched all of them, took notes, and decided to make this video. Found some really great funny clips. I'm excited to put in an edit to show you guys, because it's really a good time. It's really a whimsical time. I'm gonna say whimsical quite a few times this video, because it is an accurate description. So yeah, a short summary of just Jane and the Dragon. Jane and the Dragon are best friends. Dragon helps Jane become a knight and be her friend and things like that. It's a lesson morale, usually based episodes and that sort of thing. The overarching storyline over the entire 23 episodes that there are of it is Jane helping Dragon translate these dragon ruins in his cave so that he can learn more about himself and his family and things like that, which is cute. And it unfortunately is only 23 episodes long, so you can guess how far they get. Characters. So we have Jane, Dragon, Jester, and Pepper, Rake, Smithy, and then I would also put Gunther in there. He's in there a lot. He's kind of like the main protagonist. Him and his father are. So yeah, those are pretty much the ABC listers of the characters. So let's get on into the episodes. I'm gonna go over pretty much all the episodes, so spoilers. If you want to watch it, I mean, if you watched it when you were younger, it definitely kind of would be worth a rewatch. There are some episodes that are little gems and, you know, really nice. But I would just recommend watching this video instead. I've got some good stuff for you. So episode 1 is called Loyalty. Loyalty to your friends, basically, in a weird way. Pepper is annoyed, Pepper is the kitchen lady that cooks all the meals for everybody. She's annoyed with the prince because the prince comes in and takes food whenever he wants, and it's kind of working against her on her workload. So Jane's like, I'm going to put my dreams on the line for Pepper, and I'm going to make a thing with the king, make a deal with the king that if I accomplish something, then the prince has to stop bothering Pepper and has to help Pepper in the kitchen. And, you know, that's kind of sketchy. I would not do that in real life. I would not risk my dreams for something like that. I would be a lot more tactful. It seems very too risky, in my opinion. But that's the first episode. We really slam in with the loyalty. Episode 2, the Tooth Fairy. Jane tells the princess the Tooth Fairy is real, so she's excited about losing her tooth, and then she accidentally tells Dragon the Tooth Fairy is real too because the princess is there, so she can't say the opposite of how she feels. And since this is a G kids thing, by the end of it, the princess receives a present from the Tooth Fairy when nobody knew that she lost her tooth. So, Tooth Fairy is real, right? Yeah. Since she lied to Dragon, and like, Dragon was really upset, she had to make up for it. So she made a big crown with Smithy and gave it to him, and that earned back all of his trust, love, and admiration immediately. immediately. That's gonna tell you about the loyalty that he has. Let me just say that now. And since we touched on Princess Lavinia, let me tell you a little something about what I think happened with Princess Lavinia. Princess Lavinia looks like this, and her parents look like this, and Pepper looks like this. I think the king was messing around with Pepper and made Princess Lavinia. They don't have darker like hair or anything. It just doesn't add up. Doesn't add up. Also, Prince Cuthbert, he has light brown hair. Light brown hair. So we'll never know. We'll never really know for sure, but I know.
Boring. Come on, surprise me.
Jane, Gunther. Ow!
Episode 3, Jester Justice. Jester is making some jokey jokes. He's a real funny guy about Sir Ivan. And Sir Ivan sees it and he's like, I don't like that. Let's go fight. And so they go off to fight. Jane is super worried about it because Jester's like a wimpy wimp, I guess. And and so she's worried and underestimates him because Jester gains some confidence because he's like, I'm going to fight him with wit instead of brawn. And so he does, and it ends up being like a really cute thing. Here's the cute thing.
And now, Sir Ivan, I have saved my most devastating verse for last.
Oh, very well. I run from no one. Do your worst.
There once was a knight very brave, who was mocked by a nattering knave, hence a face-saving duel between the knight and the fool, who promised, I shall try to behave.
Not very funny.
Sir Theodore is usually the guy that gives the message of the lesson, usually, sometimes. And he gave it this time, and this is it.
Amusing yourself at the expense of another is costly entertainment, Jane.
Episode 5, Shall We Dance? There's this really creepy scene in it with Princess Lavinia, and you'll see it for sure. I like this episode because of just one thing, really, is that Jane doesn't want to wear a dress to this ball that's gonna happen. She wants to wear her night stuff because she's a knight, her night clothes. And her mom's like, nah, you can't go if you're not gonna wear a dress. So she's like, I'm not going. And she sticks to it. Like, yeah, I like it. Like, wear the clothes that make you comfy. Yeah, I liked it. The episode also had some other, like a second storyline where she had to lean into her strengths, and that was cute too. So.
Wins.
Jane. Excuse me. So much. Do you just love it so much? Yes, I do, Princess. I love dancing.
Episode 6, The Offer. I think this episode is kind of stupid. I don't really like it. Jane is trying to help out Dragon because they're friends. They both mutually help each other out. And Dragon is wrecking stuff up in the castle. He's not a good lander. He usually falls a lot and stuff like that. So he's breaking stuff all the time. And so everybody's mad at him, and she was like, you know what, I have an offer from another like kingdom that'll take us, that wants us, and we'll leave. And then they were like, okay. And so she was like, okay, we're leaving, we're out of here, we're gonna go. And Jester's the only one that's not fooled by her lie, and she ends up having to come back and be like, I'm sorry, and everybody forgives her and just throws the away party anyway. So Jane is just always forgiven for things by Dragon and her friends, which is, Jane doesn't mess up a lot, but like with her friends, she messes up a lot with like authority and things like that, and Dragon, but this one, yeah, I let that slip.
See this?
A big mouth.
My big mouth. And can you see what is in it?
Do I have to?
Dragon.
I looked, nothing there.
It is my foot. My foot is stuck in my big well of a mouth.
Episode 7, Dragon Rules.
Bow down before your ruler.
It's just a bunch of people, just her gang, mostly, playing bandy ball and hanging out, and Dragon's really big and really scary, and so all the dudes are like, we don't want to play with him anymore, like kids. And she was like, well, if you don't want to play with him, you don't get to play with me. And then eventually she comes back and she's like, I'm sorry. Which is not that big a deal, but yeah.
I will have you know that we will prune that lead away faster than you can say, quick to leaf, you come to grief. Slow to shoot, will bear your fruit.
So there.
Episode 8, Fool's Day. It's April Fool's, and everybody's worried about Jester, but instead, Dragon pranks them super mean, and it's not great. So Jane takes it upon herself to prank Dragon back and Jester, and she pranks them pretty good, but Jester doesn't really ever fall for it. It's revealed at the end, and it's just a cute episode. Jester shakes his booty.
Flight Chana Alum!
Flight Chana Alum!
Flight Chana Alum!
Flight Chana Alum Dragon!
Flight Chana Alum!
Flight Chana Alum! Flight Chana Alum Dragon! Flight Chana Alum!
Flight Chana Alum Dragon! Flight Chana Alum Dragon! Flight Chana Alum! Flight... Oh, yes! Some beasts have got it, and this beast... Arrgh.
And then gets down and stuff like that, and that's really fun.
Just remember, fool the mind, and the battle is yours.
Episode 9, there's a contest. The king wants to win it. Jester's supposed to be a singer. He loses his voice. And then there's some magical singer in the garden. They can't find him, and then they find him, and it's Dragon. Oh my goodness. And we also know that Jane can't sing. But the thing is, Jane is rapping or singing in the intro. So inconsistencies.
Strolling along in the moonlight, wondering when the time is right for a little kiss. Jester, what did you think?
The theme or the moral of that story is that you don't put your pride over the king's want to win contests. Yeah. Episode 10, Adventures in Royal Babysitting. We finally meet Jane's dad in this episode, which is pretty cool because, like, before I thought she was just an orphan for so long. I had no idea really what was going on with that. He's a chamberlain, the treasury guy. He works close with the king, and so does his mom, but, you know, of course she works with the children and things like that. Jane, of course, tries to hand off the kids that she's babysitting and supposed to babysit. She hands them off to Dragon, and the Dragon loses them, and then it's a whole thing, and then she has to admit to her faults again, and be honest and things like that. But basically, I think the moral that I would take out of this is that be prepared for anything. Children, they're a handful.
The gentle frolicking of woodland creatures.
Episode 11, Three's a Crowd.
Time to watch some cows doing their mooing. Want to join us, Jane?
No.
So in this episode, we pretty much focus heavily a lot on Gunther and Dragon's love for dunk jokes or doo-doo jokes, you know?
Louie the turd. Pepper, why is that funny? No idea. home.
And they're bonding, and Jane's jealous. Jane is jealous Nettie, and she, of course, always is also worrying about him because she also sees that Gunther is trying to take advantage of him through his dad, because his dad is the real antagonist of this story. His dad is a piece of shit. Here's a summary of Gunther's dad.
That disgusting reptile. You will clean that mess up, boy.
Yes, Father, but
And you will not associate with that vile creature.
Vile? Dragon is not vile.
He is what I say he is.
His name is Magnus. Magnus. He's the merchant, and he's garbage. And the moral of that one is jealousy can blind your judgment. Take that. Take that one. Episode 12 is called A Pig of a Problem.
It was a huge stampede, maybe 1,000 beasts strong. Cows to the left of me, bulls to the right. There I was, stuck in the middle with Moo.
The prince, I guess, pretends that the pig bit him, and he's all wimpy about it, and the king's like, we must get rid of this pig. Pig is banished. And Smithy is sad. Smithy is sad. This is the only episode, I think, where Smithy gets more of a highlighted role. And he's a cutie. He's a real cutie. So here's him being a little sobby about losing his best friend Pig.
Pig is going. Forever. Or she will be, and I need her. Need her in my forge. Work and company, I guess. She has never let me down. Never once. Never too tired, you know? Always there and never asks me for anything. And now how can I help her? How can I? Right when she needs me.
The moral or the theme of this one would be stay persistent, which is one that I find I have very lodged kind of closer in the forefront of my brain at this point in time, which is stay persistent, stay consistent. Because Jane, you know, kept trying to get the truth, figure out a way to help. She's always trying to help her friends, which is sweet.
Highness, please! I need that paper!
Episode 13, A Thing of Beauty. So this one's a little strange. I really don't know exactly what to make of it because so Jane's supposed to be guarding this portrait of the queen, and she leaves for a few minutes and comes back and it's defaced. And lo and behold, who defaced it? The queen. She defaced it because she doesn't want a picture of herself up on the wall because she thinks she's ugly. She doesn't see the perfection that everybody else sees. So yeah, she's just really insecure about herself, and I find that really sad because there's no like resolution about that. The king says my beautiful queen when he's like presenting it, but afterwards, like after she's like says this whole spiel in front of everybody like I don't see what everybody else sees, he doesn't say anything. Nobody really, I mean, Jane says she's beautiful, I think, and I think that's basically enough, probably, maybe, I don't know, I didn't feel good about it. We also find out in that episode that there's a wizard. There's a wizard. He does things. He makes fireworks and things of that sort. So I'm really upset we never got to meet this wizard. Also, since a couple of episodes back was about the princess and the prince and the babysitting and stuff like that, I wanted to talk about the Prince Cuthbert. He is like a standard 8-year-old boy, rowdy and such. But the thing is, this standard 8-year-old boy always has a zit, like right here, and his nose is always just red and crusty, like right under here. I want to know what that's about. I don't really have any theories as to what that's about. Genetics, maybe? Because he always has it. It's always a thing. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Tell me what you think. Episode 14, Ruin, or Rune, I think is probably how you pronounce it better. Rune. It's about history, family, home. It's really mostly about home. Legacy and things like that. They're having like a party, I guess, to celebrate their home and stuff like that. So Dragon is confused. And like they talk, it's like a theme. They talk about what home is and things like that.
Home is a warm kitchen and full bellies laughing round a table.
basically the end of the episode is Dragon finding out that his home is the hole in the mountain, or the cave in the mountain that he lives in. And so he thinks that, like, this is home, this is home, this is where I was born. And that's a confusing, like, statement to say that, like, home is where you were born. I agree and disagree with it. So yeah, but that was the message. Episode 15, that's 15, is called Foul Friends, and Dragon becomes like an overprotective mommy. It's really annoying because he drops Jane in the sky, and so now he's super duper scared of her doing anything. Yeah, there was no real moral. I didn't get anything out of it. Dragon didn't even eventually like he chilled out a little bit, but it was still annoying. But they did figure out how to work the dragon sword that Jane found in his cave, which basically calls dragons with like a specific sound, and she gets to use it in a time of dire situation where there's a storm and Dragon needs to save her. Of course, Dragon needs to save her as the dragon mommy he is. Episode 16, another annoying episode. It's called Dragon Phobia. It's an anesthetic. It's an amnesia episode. Jane eats some berries, forgets about Dragon in like 3 years of her life or something like that. It's really just an annoying episode, and Jane just is annoying in it, and Dragon is annoying. It's all annoying. It's my most thumbed down video. I wouldn't watch 16.
Oh yes, but mostly you like to brush my hair. Shall I get the brush?
Episode 17, Pride and Pollen. Basically, Dragon has an allergies to some plant that is a weed, and he sneezes a lot and lights a lot of things on fire, and that's not good. So he gets kicked out of the castle for a while till that gets figured out. Of course, Gunther and his nasty ass dad figure this out and try to sabotage the situation more to get rid of him, because he's like specious, because that's what it is, but also probably like if it wasn't about species, he's probably racist too. So we can hate him. We're allowed to dislike him. Maybe not hate. We're allowed to dislike him. We're allowed to dislike his beliefs. Maybe not him, but I just dislike him. We also find out about how Dragon flies. It's this thing about him eating vegetables and things like that, like food. And when he eats, he gets this gas buildup in his stomach or something that helps him fly. It's very interesting. I want to look into it.
Yeah, I think I'm gassed up.
And I would say the overarching lesson, if I haven't already really said one, is that Gunther will always take the blame for his dad's sabotaging crappy behavior. Always. He always does. He forever will. He will, in some occasions, even like willingly take the blame or try to take the blame for the things that his dad does, because he doesn't want to out his dad. Because he can't. I mean, I wouldn't be able to either, but he always will. Episode 18, Nightlight. There is the funniest scene in this episode. I'm so excited. So excited. Basically, Jane catches the fear of the dark one night, and she ends up having to do this thing for her night ship to, it's like a test, and the test is in a maze in the dark, and they end up not being able to do it because the wolves come out, and then they find out the Princess Lavinia is out there in the maze trying to help Jane overcome her fear of the dark. So because it's an emergency, Jane goes out there with all her adrenaline and things like that and saves Princess Lavinia.
Jane, you found me. Did you see my secret note?
Shh. And that's how she overcame the fear of the dark in emergency situations. So that's how you should overcome your fears in emergency situations. Yes. Episode 19, Fathers. Let's talk about daddies. Not in that kink way. Just your biological fathers. So now we get to spend some time with Jane and her dad, and Jane kind of disses her dad, and then eventually in the end, like, wants to work with him some more, and it's cute. It's cute. Some dad daughter bonding time, and basically Sir Theodore gives a little message. Here's the message.
A parent's burden, the balance between faith in your child and fear for your child.
I am just glad she is home safe.
And it's adorable. I like it. It's a good episode. Episode 20, Strawberries Fool. It's a cute episode. It's a cute episode. Everything that Jane planned goes wrong. It goes awry. And so, yeah, basically it's just like think outside the box, get creative, do what you can with what you got, you know? Cute stuff.
Ride in Smithy's pig cart.
For me?
Of course. Yes, good. Good. My little girl adores that pig.
21, Go West Gardener. So this one we're honing in on the character Rake. And he's a cutie. He's a real cutie. He talks to his plants. He's an adorable guy. He wants to go and get new spices and things like that. He's really only been in his garden most of his life. So he wants to explore. There's a whole new world. So he takes a ride on Dragon's back.
Behave yourself, dragon, please.
Yes, please.
And sees how big the world is, and he's like, I want to check that stuff out, and so he does. And it's cute. I would say the better message to take is that the world is big, never stop exploring. And that sort of jazz. The one qualm I have with this story or this episode is that at the end of it, Pepper is like worried about Rake, and when he gets back, Rake's like, did I disappoint you? And Pepper's like, you could never disappoint me. And I'm just like, that's not how it works. It's not perfect. Love's not perfect. Just get a room. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just not how it works. And I don't like that. Because I ship them. They'd be cute. They'd be perfect for each other. Pepper and Rake. Rake and Pepper. Perfect. You know? But I don't like none of that perfection stuff that I just said they were, because they're characters. So all of it's arbitrary anyway.
So, Rake talks to you, does he? Has he told you who is the smelliest veggie in the plot, A runner bean is long and lean, but it smells too fresh and it smells too clean. The cabbage leaf can cause some grief. The taste is strong, but the smell is brief. Without a doubt, it's the Brussels sprout. It smells going in, but it stinks coming out. Yes, the Brussels sprout, it stinks coming out.
Bravo!
I am going one better than Rake's talking to the plants. I am singing to them.
22. Okay, 22 is one of my favorite episodes because of the Jane and the Jester scenes that come about. The episode starts off with Pepper seeing Jane and Gunther messing around. Gunther's basically like taking her sword and hiding it and running it and things like that. And she sees that and she's like, they are courting. They are flirty flirt. And she says that to Rake, and Rake's like, I don't know. And then the sound goes up the chimney or down the chimney, whichever direction, and Princess Lavinia hears it, and now she's all about becoming the princess flower girl, and so she's stoked about that. And then Jester hears it, and Jester's heart is shattered. It is broken.
The bitter taste of tears I cried, the emptiness of love denied. With all this pain I know not when my heavy heart will love again.
Catchy, but not very funny.
No, not very funny, Dragon. Songs of unrequited love seldom are.
I did not know this when I was watching it. I didn't know he loved her. But basically he sings a ballad of love for her, and it broke my heart. Jester then gives the most amazing advice ever, is that you should do what's best for you in this situation. And they hug, and it's adorable.
The truth is, you must do whatever feels right for you, not what anyone else thinks you should do. Not even me.
It's the best. And then Jane eventually has to fight Gunther, sword fight, and it's a tie. Of course, it's freaking tie. So she tells Gunther, like, hey, I'm not into you. And then Gunther's like, I'm not into you either. This big lizard just is like intimidating me to not break your heart or whatever. But I really just can't stand you. She's like, perfect, I can't stand you either. And then Jester's heart is just lifted back up, and you see them be cute and like wink at each other. It's so cute, just here.
And my face.
What a pity for a face so pretty. I mean, you know.
I know. You were just making a rhyme, right?
Right, rhyme for my new ballad.
I would say most of the moral of this is that when two people are arguing and two people bicker a lot, it doesn't mean that they like each other. And that's important. That's some second grade kids stuff that needs to get out of here. That's not real.
Dragon? How can you be so thick?
Well, easy. 37 square meals a day.
Episode 23. Dragon's egg. The merchant brings a so-called dragon's egg that he discovered and bought on a shady background story, and Dragon becomes very interested, and Jane is like, that's not real, and Jester's the only one that like backs her up on that. That's like a cute thing that they have again, and eventually she's able to prove that, hey, this is not a dragon's egg. And he's crushed, he's pissed, and finally, this man, Gunther's dad, gets what he deserves, and Dragon drops him in a pile of his own poop. And that's pretty great. That's the justice I've been looking for. I would say the theme or the moral in that is that you can become delusional with the smallest percentages of hope that you have. Like, if this is there's the smallest percentage that was a real egg, but he held on to it and totally disregarded the like 99.9% that it actually probably wasn't, you know? But it's hard to fight. I get it. 24 Kings Night. We're coming up on the second to last episode, or this is the second to last episode. So Jane finds this map that leads her to something in a cave, and it creates mistrust with her and the king, and she eventually cannot swear in her oath to the king, and that is a thing, but then there are things that are revealed. It's really not super interesting, but basically what I took from that was do your research. Do your research, even though they did zero research, because it would have been breaking the trust of the king. But you know what? You gotta do your research. And you also gotta talk to the people that you have problems with. That was the thing. They just talked to the people, would have been able to figure it out sooner. The anxiety would have been lessened.
I will look right away.
Thank you.
JK, this is the second to last episode, episode 25. Last of the Dragon Slayers. So Jane finds this knife or a sword in Sir Theodore's private things that she's not supposed to be in, and it has like the sword that was supposed to slay dragons. She's trying to figure out what that's about, but then he's like, no, you can't figure out what that's about. And then we find him going up to Dragon's cave, and we see him there with the sword, and it looks like he's about to slay or try to slay Dragon, and then he's like, no, I just need to beg for forgiveness for the sins of my predecessors. And I'm just like, why? I mean, I think it has to do maybe with like what about what he believes. But to me, like, you do not carry the sins of your forefathers, and that is the lesson that I took home.
Well, then what am I supposed to do?
Eat more iron.
Episode 26, the last episode, for crying out loud. See, this is a terrible ending to this, because I don't think they knew it was gonna end. I didn't think they knew at all. Basically, this episode touches on animal cruelty and hunting. So the king is doing this hunting ceremony where he gets this boar and he's gonna let it go, and they're gonna chase the boar strategically for funsies, you know? But they're not gonna kill the boar. They can't do that because this is G, not PG, it is GG. And then Sir Ivan says some really creepy stuff.
Sorry, your little majesty, but hunting is a noble art, the height of good sport. The thrill of the chase, the screams of your prey as you corner the brute, the smell of sweat and fear as you...
Yes, quite. Noble indeed. Thank you, Sir Ivan.
But basically, Dragon's like, I don't want to participate this. This is wrong. And he says these things.
Hunting is a noble tradition.
Ah, yes, very noble, chasing a terrified creature. I thought a knight had to stand up for the weak and the helpless.
That is not fair.
Neither is hunting.
The king promised to release it after the hunt. That is something, surely?
So who tells the pig? Ooh, do not trouble your cute bristly head, Mr. Piggy. These men galloping after you, waving pointy sticks, are just playing.
Yes, all right.
So, what are you going to do about it?
Something.
What?
How do I know? Something.
He's not down, and Jane's like trying to figure out if, you know, because she has to participate. And so she's trying to figure out how we can make this work. So basically, for ethical reasons that they have come to their own conclusions about, they break the rules and try to get the pig free, and then they lie to the king, and the queen lies to her king about where the pig is because they want to set it free. So that was Jane and the Dragon, my dudes. Honestly, it's gonna have a special place in my heart. A small place, but a special place. My favorite things about Jane and the Dragon is the art style. The art style kind of creeps a lot of people out, and I understand that. It's really grown on me since I've watched it since a kid, and I also follow people that make art that looks similar, so I really like it. I also love the music. It's very whimsical, medieval, and cute and perfect and fluty, and you know, it's great, it's good. And then I also, you know, long for the days where I would see more Jester and Jane together being perfect and cute and things like that. That's what I really want in my life. Those are my favorite things about it. My overall thought about the show is that, like, it was really fun to make this. It was really fun to look back on it, and I would definitely look back on it if I were you and I'd seen this before. It was worth it. It was great. It's good kid stuff, you know? Good kid stuff, and I'm down for that. I'm down for the good kid stuff. So I'm really glad to have done this. I'm so glad you have watched it. I really am excited. It was a good time. Do I recommend the show? Yeah, if you've seen it, I'd recommend it. If you haven't really seen it, I don't know if it would really grow on you or you'd be able to get through it. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah.
Come on, Rake, my turn to play dragon.
Who said dragon won?
Sword beats parchment.